Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play ChäoS Head. And in the last episode, Takumi received some very brief cryptic words from Ayase Kishimoto, otherwise known as the lead singer of Phantasm, Fez. Something about him needing to find a sword as quickly as possible, which could ultimately relate to the D-sword that was wielded by Senna just a few days ago. And it would also explain Ayase's so-called mic stand. In fact, what she wielded on that night of the concert could very well be a D-sword of her own. And it seems like much like Senna's D-sword, Takumi is the only one who can actually see the D-swords himself alone. But going to have to put that little mystery on the back burner for the time being because it's time for Animeight. The reason, of course, was to pick up my long-awaited blood-tuned Serotan post-awakening version. Well, it's about time something good happened throughout this whole entire affair. While I was buying it, Yua's face briefly flitted across the back of my mind, but I soon forced that train of thought to a stop. Yeah, we kinda did promise to have her accompany us for the post-awakening release of Seira Orgel, but that ship has sailed and sank as far as I'm concerned, and as well as far as Takumi is concerned, I suppose. I took a look at the Seratons put out on display to catch customers' eyes, but since the sculptor was Yoshio Kojima, nothing indeed needed to be said about the quality. In other words, the quality is supposed to be very good. I better hurry home and savor every nook and cranny of her. Hee hee hee. As long as I could gaze at Seratan's face every so often while playing Insu, I was happy. That happiness won't last forever. Despite that, let me read that again. Despite that, why did the third dimension have to keep bringing me nothing but burdens? It was the same now. As I forgot all about Fez and her sword and headed off for my base with a new spring in my step. Oh, it's you two. When I had about 50 meters to go, I encountered two men who possessed an undeniably out-of-the-ordinary air about them. And you've seen one of them before, Takumi. The man on the right. Yeah. Looks like your luck is yet about to change once again, and not for the better. I thought I would pass them by without meeting their eyes, but they were blatantly watching me.
そこの君、ちょっといいかい？
Out of the two, the one who spoke was a bleary-looking geezer like you'd see gambling at a racetrack. Messy hair, unshaven, suit wrinkled, necktie sloppily tied, and shoes with no trace of polish. The vision of a man who'd failed to get ahead in life. That's, Ban for you. Somehow the fact that he was flapping a handheld fan at himself only served to emphasize his wretchedness. His expression, too, was melancholic. He put on a flippant smile. But his eyes, which met mine for the barest second, weren't laughing. Yeah, he definitely has a good poker face, doesn't he? I had nowhere to run. While I wavered about how to answer him, the two of them came walking up right up to me.
おじさん、こういうものなんだけどさ。
The geezer took out the black folding badge out of his breast pocket and held it up to me. It was the type of police ID I'd often seen in TV dramas. It was of course the first time I'd ever laid eyes on one in real life. Yeah, they're policemen. They'd finally come. I could think of only one reason. The staking. Hmm. Indeed.
ちょっと話を聞かせてもらっていいかい？もちろん強制じゃないんだけどね。あ、いやいや、そんな身構えなくていいよ。本当話聞くだけだから。
Yeah, looks like we have to play this out after all, Takumi. No getting around it. There was zero pressure present in his manner of speaking, except the other younger detective wore a severe expression as he casually changed his position to block my path. I started sweating. If I did anything stupid, they might start suspecting me of being the perpetrator and haul me off to the police station. I couldn't let that happen. So close, and yet so far. I resigned myself to my fate and gave a small nod.
君さ、俗に言うニュージェネレーションの狂気って知ってるかな？
The name rings a bell, as I thought. Wiping off the sweat off my forehead, I nodded back at him.
じゃあ3番目に起きた通称貼り付け殺人事件も当然知ってるよね。この近所で起きたわけなんだけども。
And he's not beating around the bush either.
その目撃者を探してるわけよ。あ、ちなみに君、名前聞かせてくれる？
I see what you did there. Your interrogation techniques are sharp, but not that sharp. I couldn't help sucking in a breath. This wasn't Zhuge Lang's or Lian's trap, was it? Although I know who that is. Or maybe there were a group of con men who'd act like policemen while talking to me, when really they were going to extract my personal information and put it to ill use, or else underlings of the demon girl herself. Unfortunately, 'tis not the time to actually be sinking into delusions here.
ん？あれ？答えてくんないのかな？
Hmm. They're already suspicious enough. Unfortunately, Takumi's anxiety is definitely not to his advantage. Once they started doubting me, there'd be no end to it. What should I do? If I answered with a false name, that alone might give them sufficient grounds to arrest me.
ああ、個人情報保護法とか気にしてる？おじさんそんなに信用なさそうに見えるかな？
In a manner of speaking. Yeah, you do. Anyway, his amiable manner of talking was surely just an act. I wonder about that.
西条匠
Well, there's no going back now. In the end, I couldn't think of anything to do and had no choice but to answer honestly.
西条匠くんでいいかい？
I nodded.
本当に？
Huh? What do you mean by really? What was with that reaction when I've been good enough to answer truthfully?
いや、これは失礼。今のは気にしないでくれ。
There was something about that expression. It was even more severe than your partner's there. The detective's deliberate sounding laugh echoed through the quiet residential area. But we're not off the hook. Not in the slightest. I wanted them to be quicker about releasing me.
その制服、水明だよね。何年生？
Suppose we can answer that. Did I have to answer that kind of thing too? Well, pretty much.
悪いね。聞き取れなかった。 おじさんもう年だから耳遠くてさ、もう一度言ってくれる？
2年生。
ああ、2年生ね。どうも。で、西条さん、聞きたいことってのは先月の29日の午後6時から10時頃にかけてどこで何してたかなんだわ。
And so we finally cut to the chase. Unfortunately, there is absolutely no way out for Takumi Nichijou at this point. The video evidence is there, and it is a strike against him. Are they asking for my alibi? Could it be that they suspected me? But that was absurd.
いや、別に君を疑ってるわけじゃなくてさ、その時間にこの近くにいたなら怪しい人物を見かけたとか、何か音を聞いたとかないかと思ってね。
You got us good there. Somehow, listening to this detective talk got me really irritated. Maybe speaking in such a way as to purposefully anger the subject was kind of an interrogation technique. Well, if it is, it seems to be working. But I'd seen a suspicious person with my own eyes, distinctly. Unfortunately, Takumi, that said person was not caught on camera. I vacillated about whether it was okay to tell that to the sketchy-seeming old fogey. What would I do if I told them and the demon girl came to retaliate? Right now it seemed like she was letting me slip away, but she had the precog Shogun as one of her toadies. She herself might be able to use some sort of unbelievable power as well. That might truly be the case. If so, if I were going to speak about the demon girl to the police, she might have already found out by using her sixth sense of something. Then maybe she would come to kill me. There's no use jumping straight to conclusions. Not when there's so much unresolved. Currently now the demon girl is the least of our worries.
なあ、西条くん、今日はそんなに暑いか？
Yeah, and the fact that Takumi is sweating definitely hasn't escaped Ban's notice. Old he may be, but he is a detective. When he said this, my heart rate jumped. If I didn't say anything more, they definitely think I was the criminal. But I was scared that even if I lied by saying I didn't see anything, they'd know I was faking it. That they would. The older man used the fan he was carrying to fan the side of my face for me. A cool breeze stirred my hair. Well, that's the only bit of kindness he's given us so far.
もうすっかり秋だ。汗かくほど暑いとは思えんけどな。まあ体質ってのは人それぞれだしな。
I didn't exactly want to hear that from a guy who walked around with a fan in this season. But admittedly, it wasn't particularly hot today. The temperature was just at the right level for comfort. But then again, there is the matter of Takumi's condition. I wiped my sweat off again and again with the sleeves of my uniform.
僕はやってない。
Unfortunately, we're putting our foot right into it.
おお。
The color in the detective's eyes changed. I realized I must have said the wrong thing, but I didn't understand what part of it must have been the wrong thing in the first place.
何をやっていないんだ?
They totally suspected me. My only option was to answer truthfully. Well, here goes nothing. Staring down at the manhole that happened to be located right at my feet, I shouted,
見たんです。貼り付けの現場、そこに女がいたんです。で、血まみれにして死体の前に杭がたくさん死体に突き刺さってて、あれ500本は絶対超えてた。異常だ。死体がハリネズミみたいになってて、女は僕を見てよかったって笑ってた。あの女は悪魔だ。人間じゃない。ニュージェネの母親には人を超えた存在なんだ。ヨシとかすごい超能力とか使う。
When I said that much, I realized the two detectives were staring at me blankly. Well, I don't believe I'm saying this, but you might have actually gotten yourself out of that fix. Maybe they didn't believe me. I shut up again as that thought occurred to me. True, but the fact that you've actually given them reasonable doubt. And while of course you are unfortunately caught on candid camera there, Takumi, yeah, the fact that they're puzzled like this over your story might actually work out in your favor.
悪魔か。なるほどね。そいつは参考になったよ。
It's not much of a get out of jail free card, but hey, it worked.
本当です。
ああ、分かってる分かってる。貴重な情報だよ。
Yeah, Ban seems mildly disappointed, to put a fine point on it.
僕を警察で守ってください。
その前にその女の年は分かる。服装とか顔の特徴とか。
水明。
水明って水明学園？
その
Indeed.
制服着てた。
つまり西条君と同じ学校の生徒か。
After lapsing into thought for some time, the old man grinned, then muttered something that could have either been a real question or a rhetorical one. Oh,
何
let's
年
hear
生
it.
だろうな、その女子高生は。
That didn't sound much like a question.
何年生だと思う？西条君。
わからない。
じゃあなんて名前だと思う？
わからないよ。僕はあの悪魔の名前なんて知らない。
Well, the only defense that we actually have is that Takumi doesn't really know too many people outside of the likes of Daisuke, Ayase, and Senna. They're pretty much the only three other students of Sume Academy that Takumi even knows the name of.
その女の身長、体重、あとついでにスリーサイズについては。
I think that's taking a step too far there, Ban. I was up with this geezer. Was he mocking me? How could I possibly know even one of those? I don't have a moronic love comedy power, manga-esque power like being able to look at someone's height, weight, and 3 sizes from a single look.
なるほど。黙ってるってことはわからないってことだね。結構。参考になったよ。
Well, once again, we seem to have dodged the bullet for the time being.
これは本部に戻って検討しないといかんな。
Then again, they might just decide that Takumi was lying the entire time just to get out of trouble.
先輩、マジっすか？
Lifting a hand to silence the dumbfounded younger detective, the older one gave him some kind of sign with his eyes.
西条君、ちなみに連絡先とか教えてもらえる？
なんで？
They didn't believe me after all. They wanted to label me a deviant and set me up as the criminal.
ああ、だって悪魔だっけ？そいつから君を守らな。
Oops, sorry about that. But it looks like they're actually going ahead with that police protection thing there. Oh, I get it. Thank God they believed me. There'd be nothing more comforting than having the police looking out for me. Of course, our opponent was a demon, so maybe even the police could be felled by a single blow, but it was better than being completely unarmed. A tiny bit relieved, I took out the cell phone I bought the other day and showed its number to the detectives. The younger detective wrote it down in his notebook.
忙しいところありがとうさ。君の身の安全は警察が保証するから何の心配もしなさんな。じゃあまた何か聞きたいことができたら電話するかもしんないんで、その時はよろしくね。イルスとか使わないでくれよ。今のところ警察にとっては君は重要な人物だからな。
Yeah, Takumi isn't quite off the hook yet, but for now, things are not as bad as they could have been.
君の目撃証言は事件解決の重要な手がかりになりそうだ。
I feel there's a slight double meaning behind those words.
じゃあな。
And then they're gone. The two detectives bowed their heads to me and swiftly walked away. After turning back to glance at me, the younger detective began saying something to the older one in lowered tones. The older one kept walking without responding to him. Come to think of it, it's actually rather strange that Takumi hasn't yet realized that he's seen that younger detective before. I took deep breaths. I'd been so nervous. That's definitely a reason to swear it is nervousness. It was my first time being questioned by real detectives. I'd acted pretty suspiciously, but somehow they believed me. Maybe. That is quite a long shot there. It'd be wonderful if the police caught the demon girl. Unfortunately, with the way that the new gen murders have been unfolding, solving this case is still a long way off. But the police were basically powerless, so it might not be a good idea to expect too much from them. Good call. Noticing that the inside of my mouth had become desert dry before I knew it, I bought a plastic bottle of Coke from the nearby vending machine. And back to the base we go.
まあ、四つん這いエロすぎ。後ろから見たらパンツ丸出しじゃんか。だがそれがいい。てらエロ顔。やっぱこの泣きそうっつうか生きそうにしか見えない顔が木島よしおのいいとこだよな。マジで木島 GJ。半脱ぎ下手に隠してる方がエロいし、この左手の位置とかやばすぎ。上着キャストオフとかこの角度からじゃほとんど全裸にしか見えん。ひょー、髪の動きがいいよな。覚醒バージョンは髪が命って持論があるわけだが間違ってなかったな。さてそれではお待ちかねパンツいってみようか。どれどれ。V ゾーンの作り込みいいよ。シワの付き方リアルだしって。おお、これスージーさんすげえマジですげえ。クオリティ高し。これセーラタン5作目にして早くも最高傑作爆誕じゃねえ。これ以上すごいのなんて出せないってマジで。やっぱ木島は神。
I carefully placed the new Serotan next to my PC monitor. Yay, you're so sexy, Sarah. Yeah, the post-awakening version has a rather interesting sort of blue-shaded uniform there. And now that Takumi has finished gushing over the post-awakening Seira Orgel, time to end the episode. And when we return, hopefully, yeah, we're going to have to think back on what those two detectives were talking about. And of course, as we should already be aware of, that's not the last time that we'll be seeing those two anytime soon. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.